Alright, hats off, chewing gum in the bin, phones away, let's do this. The humble equals sign. You probably once, in your early primary school days, thought of it as just meaning the thing that tells us what the answer is. But pretty soon you learned that this symbol of two little straight lines, one above the other, they're both the same length. Well, that one's not very good then, because they need to be the exact same length to be a perfect equals sign. And if they're exactly the same length because they're the same, that means that what's on this side of the equal sign is the same as what's on that side of the equal sign. So in this little quick example here, x equals z. Now, sometimes you can have more than one equal sign in a line of working. But what these mean is x is equal to y here. And also y is equal to z. So that's saying these two things are the same and these two things are the same, which means all three things have to be the same, which means that's the same as that one. But what I'm seeing in a lot of students' work at the moment is not that. Let's go through this example here. So some dude earns $19.65 per hour. They work 8 hours at normal pay and they get 4 hours of overtime, and the overtime rate is time and a half. Now, I couldn't fit it all into one line here on this piece of paper, but in this student's work, when I looked at it, it was all on one line. It was all on the same line. And they said $19.65 times 8 equals that. And then they added on 4 lots of that equals that. And then they added on 2 lots of that, which equals that. And absolutely nightmarish for a few reasons. First of all, I'm going to circle all the equal signs. This was on a separate line, so I'm not going to worry about that, but all of those were on the same line. Actually, I'll put a quick box around this one to show you that that was separate. Now, as I said, it's okay for you to use more than one equal sign so long as the things are actually the same. If they're not the same, you can't do this. And let's just go here. $19.65 times 8 is the $157.20. If I now add something else to it, it's not the same as this anymore, because all of this is not the same as all of this. And all of that green bit is also not the same as all of this dark blue bit. Now, this dark blue bit in the final answer, they're the same, but the person here has used the equal signs incorrectly, because they've said that everything on that same line with an equals is the same, when it so isn't. So, there are two ways that you can deal with this. You can either start a new line for every time you do a new calculation. And sometimes that's preferred. So yep, you've got your 7 times 100 to get your 700. And then you're going to use that to subtract 9 to make it 691. That's okay. Or, here is almost a preferred method in some places, putting the whole calculation as a single line. So doing 7 times 100 together. I put brackets in sort of dots here because you don't have to have those in brackets. The multiplication will happen first, but I know sometimes I like to have a bit of confidence with that. You've done the 7 times 100, and then you subtracted the 9, and you've done it all as one thing to get 691 as the answer. So let me work through with you this question using both ideas. Idea A is going to be starting a new line for every single one. So I've got $19.65 times the 8 hours of normal time, and that was $157.20. And I've got $19.65 times the 4 hours of time and a half. And that was $117.90. And when I add those together, $157.20 plus $117.90 is $275.10. That would be a correct way to do it if you wanted to work out the separate things and then put them together. Or putting it all into one line. Okay, this might get a little bit cramped, but I'm sure you'll roll with me here. I'm going to do the 1965 times 8 first. I don't need the brackets, but I'm going to put some blue brackets here so you can follow on. And then we're going to add the 1965 times the 4 times the 1.5 for the overtime bit. And that will give me, won't fit on the side here, but imagine it's there. Let's just double check that. $19.65 times 8 plus the separate bit, $19.65 times 4 times 1.5. Oh, I've got a mistake there in the typing. Times bracket. There we go. That should hopefully, yep, good. No, that should be a plus. Sometimes the calculator is where the error happens. There we go. $275.10. That's usually neater to do it in one line rather than doing it in 3, but whatever works for you, just so long as you're pretty consistent with it. Now, one extra little alternative here, which is not really a direct option like this. If I find that I want to start doing the mistake way, if I want to start doing that, I kind of avoid it by doing this. 7 times 100 is 700. And now I want to add subtract 9 from that, but I don't want to start a new line really. I've done it that way, so reading across here now, as I look, yep, my 7 times 100 is 700. That hasn't, I've not made any lies happen there. And if I look down here, 700 minus 9 is 691. I haven't made any lies there. So don't go telling lies, no papa, no telling lies by putting lots of equal signs with things that aren't equal. Make sure that the things are in the same line. You can kind of cheat that way if you need to. But all the things in the same line are actually the same on both sides of every equal sign. All right, enjoy.